Everyone, welcome back to Threads from the Wheel. I'm Monica, this is Heather, and we are here to talk about the latest Amazon or latest episode of the Wheel of Time from Amazon. Episode title is Damane. Heather, what'd you think?
Um, this one held my attention completely.
Yeah, I had trouble making notes.
Yeah,
I'm like,
even even on my second watch when I
yeah,
was making my notes, it was still I had to pause it to write stuff down so I
yeah,
wouldn't miss anything.
yep, hmm
And
yeah.
there were scenes that were definitely hard to watch, and some that weren't hard to watch.
Some having read the books, some I knew were coming. So, if um, yeah, if the difficult ones for you were, I don't think they were for me because, yeah,
Well, you
yeah,
were forewarned.
yeah, I knew 20 years ago. Um, so we start off with the Shanchen ships. Say that three times fast. The Shanchen ships coming into harbor at Fama. Uh, and we go into the the court of the High Lord Turok in Fama. Why I wrote here, I don't know. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Um, and he just no Surath starts speaking with her voice. That's the other lady, and Turok's voice is like, no, no, no. Surath will address me with her voice, which to address someone of a higher rank, you're supposed to talk for yourself. That is straight up disrespect. To speak to someone of equal, whichever you feel like, more than likely your own voice. To speak to someone of lower class with your own voice is considered an honor on the person of the lower station. Um, so yeah, that's where the voices come in. It's a and the finger wagging is her telling the voice what to say.
Is
Uh,
is that a magic fingernail thing?
no, no, it's just a and it means something. How on earth they do anything with those fingernails?
I have questions. I
I
have serious questions about hygiene and personal
yeah.
care, and it boggles the mind.
Well,
I know her name is Lady Soroth, but in my notes she is always referred to as creepy nail lady.
yeah. Um. No, I've always imagined them like I don't know, maybe that long at most, maybe that, and they're supposed to be lacquered blue. Why on earth they
Well,
didn't do that for the show?
these things were full on chopsticks taped to their fingers. It was eh,
Yeah, yeah.
eh.
Um. So and I was watching a reaction video the other day, and this guy was watching a video with a woman whose nails were like that long or something, and he had similar questions to you. And his quote, what he said was, "It's your welcome back to it's your duty to wipe your booty." And every time I see a shot jet with those long nails, I think about that. I up every time.
I mean, there are bidets, but
Well, I
ugh, I shudder.
someone that high ranking, no doubt, has a
An,
slave do it for
an
them.
official butt wiper.
Mm-hmm. Dalcovale is what they're called. But yeah,
Still, yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm. So then, uh, Suroth gives Turok Loyal and Ingtar. book Shinarans, Ingdar, fine, whatever. He's human. They respect the ever living out of Ogier. Even back in Shansha, no Ogier is made property ever, 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 ever. And
I feel so bad every time they show him just standing there watching. He's just so out of place because that's not for him. It's awful.
And then we hear your favorite whistle.
Oh, before that,
Mm-hmm.
they take off her nails
Oh, okay.
because she says, "Perhaps my lord has made a mistake."
This
And
syrup has a mouth.
in his own voice, not his voice of here,
Yeah.
his own voice, he says, "I don't make mistakes."
I something about the light. I'm guided by the light itself, I think is what it was.
We have a mission to unite the people of the world under our empress to
May she
fight the
live forever.
shadow. To fight the shadow. Yeah, I figured that was important.
In the books, it was just okay. Yeah, we're back to reclaim to unite our two lands. What the hell did you people do to? No, this is our land. I'll get into that more here in a bit.
And she's banished.
Yeah.
Until she's more presentable. After they take off her fingernails. That's the only part of that scene I actually liked. Was seeing her nails go bye-bye.
I would think that her nails would have to be maybe a certain length before she's allowed back. Is what that means. I'm guessing.
I doubt that they would make her wait as long as it took to grow them out.
But it could be, in which case she's not coming back.
Then you hear the whistle, and he swaggers with.
Oh, he could swagger with the best of them.
Bit of just intestinal fortitude that anybody ever had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Pen Fane.
Mm-hmm. And I found it interesting that Turok knew what it was before Fane said it.
I didn't understand that. I was guessing the box gave it away, or he had said he wanted it. I wasn't sure about that. And his creepy nails trying to open that box were funny as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the grave is no bar to my call. That's what is engraved in the old tongue on the horn itself. And we haven't seen the horn yet, have we? Only people looking in the box?
No, it doesn't show a full view of the horn. You just see it open, and there's obviously something inside.
Okay.
But with this, we can rule the world.
Because it will call back the heroes from Legends. If you are heroic enough, if your deeds are great enough, the wheel will sometimes add a member to those heroes who are bound to the horn. And in the books, it's there's some question as to whether or not who they would fight for. Like, God forbid it end up in the wrong hands. But once it is sounded, no, one of the heroes is like, no, we're gonna fight for the light. No, don't care who blew it. So, but that's way late in the series. And Moraine and Rand are on the run from Lanfear. And then she just sort of opens her eyes and gets her butt up.
Yeah, I noticed there was black stuff in her eyes, and it brought back X-Files memories. I don't know if you ever watched the X-Files, but
Not enough
I
to
was
do
a
that.
severe devotee.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what it made me think of. But I figured that had to do something with dark power, dark energy.
Did you
I didn't I
notice
didn't
what
fully
was
understand.
what swirled around her?
It looked like she was pulling the blood that had come out of her back into her
Okay.
body.
Aside from that, when you wield the one power, you get this swirling golden light.
Okay.
But that wasn't there.
I was
There
gonna
was
say I
a
didn't see
swirling
any.
darkness,
Ah,
black, just like the taint when a man channels.
okay.
She's channeling the true power. The whole thing that kicked this off in the first place was back in the Age of Legends. Men and women were able to do great things together because um, women were generally more powerful in water and air, and men in earth and fire. And you put those two, oh, and they were, flip a coin on spirit. But you put those elements all together, and the greatest accomplishments of the Age of Legends happened that way. Well, some researchers happened upon something just outside of the pattern itself. It seemed to be a source of power. They couldn't make out what it was. They made a pin-prick hole in the pattern. The explosion destroyed the building they were in.
You talked about that one last season.
Oh, okay.
I remember that.
Um, and that was the Shadow's prison. Aha. Because the true power can be used equally by men or women. It's not divided into Saidar and Saidin. Um, but with the true power, it's throttled by the Dark One himself. If he really likes you, okay, yeah, you can use this much. If you start getting on his bad side, no, you're throttled down to that. If he doesn't like you at all, no, you're cut off. You ain't touching it. And it's supposedly a 1,000 times more addictive than the true power. But if you use too much of it, or the more of it you use, you get those, they're called Saw. And when a Forsaken sees another Forsaken with Saw in their eyes, they generally start getting nervous. You've been wielding it that much? Oh, you a junkie? Okay. Uh-huh.
Run from the crackhead. Run from the crackhead.
Yeah. um,
Yeah, I liked when she first realized what Moraine had done.
that I thought that was her sealing up
But
the.
she was, but when she felt it,
Oh,
she called Moraine
uh,
the B word.
yeah. The first thing she said, Susie, she could.
If somebody had just slit my throat and I reanimated, I'm probably going to call him that too.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe a few other words.
And then we get Moraine and Rand reaching the stables, and this poor stable hand just trying to do her job. They abduct her and two of the horses, or three of the horses.
3 of the horses and kill the 4th so that
Mm-hmm.
Lanfear can't follow them. It seems like Rand is always seeing Moraine being desperate, sinking the ferry the night they left the
Mm.
2 rivers, and the poor ferryman going down with the ferry. And this, it, she's desperate and she's trying everything she can to keep Lanfear away, but all
Mm-hmm.
Rand sees is the ruthlessness of it.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
he might have thought, why can't we take this 4th horse? But She's like, nope, it's got to go. Plus, that did help sell the idea that they left on horseback and were riding horses to Tarvalon.
Mm-hmm.
We know they didn't.
Mm-hmm. As soon as that guy, then Lanfear gets to the stable. As soon as that guy appears on the other side, I'm like, you are so toast.
Yeah, you're gone.
You're so toast.
You're gone. And the way
Yeah.
he left this world was
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yeah, just so
Literally off with your head.
yeah. Mm-hmm. And then she looks at the thing. A horse. Is there anything slower than
Slower
a
than a
horse? I'm like, your own feet, and woman, you can travel. Which is, you've got the ways, but if you can wield the one power, you can do that by yourself, and there's no, it's like, I don't know if you ever read A Wrinkle in Time.
Years, too many years ago.
If you're an ant walking along this piece of paper, that's going to take you a long time. What if you brought the two pieces together? And that's basically what traveling is. You open a gateway and it just,
yeah. Folding space time.
Yes. So yeah, though with traveling and skimming, you do have to know where you're going first.
Yeah,
but you could do small leaps.
She was following them, trying to catch up to them, not trying
to
jump ahead of them to come out of the woods and be batty, because she really didn't know for sure where they were going. She had an idea, but she wasn't sure.
Yeah. And then we have Elias and Perrin walking down this little path in the middle of the woods. And it's like, I certainly miss. Oh, he asks if his eyes will turn yellow. And Elias says, yes. Sooner rather than later, if you're lucky.
Yep.
He says, certainly there's something you miss about civilization.
I miss beer.
I miss beer. I love that line.
Yeah, that's in my notes.
I don't know if they're going to get into it in the show, but in the books, Elias, before he found out he was a wolf brother, he was a warder to an Aes Sedai. And the Red Aja got a hold of him because they had never seen yellow eyes. They had never heard of a wolf brother. They didn't know what was going on.
Well, he said that they stay away from women who can channel because they don't understand, that they fear things they don't understand.
And that's why.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. So whether or not he was a warder before in this, clearly he ran afoul of some probably red sisters.
Seems easy to do. Seems easy to do.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a man.
Yeah. Yeah. They are actually not allowed warders within their Aja. That's an Aja rule. Well, so many centuries of side-eyeing them. Yeah, straight up don't trust any of them. Most of them. There are exceptions.
Well, hearing Leandrin talk, all men want to seize their power.
Leandrin is not most Reds. And I wanted to wring Elias's neck when he started talking about Perrin's pack. They are not your pack. Neither are the humans from the Two Rivers. Neither was your wife. You absolute good for nothing, goat kissing Trolloc. No. I mean, Hopper bonded with Perrin over having lost his mate. So wouldn't it make sense that Hopper at least saw the woman as part of Perrin's pack?
It seems like Elias is trying to push Perrin too fast. Too much too fast. He wants him to become a full wolf brother. Yellow eyes all the time. You know, willing to forego whatever to join the pack. And Perrin's just not ready for that. He may never be. I don't know.
I don't know what his end game is here. Now, in the books, Perrin and Moraine, when they're traveling on the way to Canelan, run across this poor guy. In the books, his eyes turn yellow pretty much instantaneously. It like flipping a switch. Once he realizes there's something there, he won't admit it to himself, but bam, his eyes are yellow. They stop at an inn for the night, and one of the employees at the inn takes Perrin aside and said, my brother's real sick. Do you think she would take a look? And he's like, well, can I ask? And they go to Moraine, and she's like, okay. Well, the thing was that the guy's brother was a wolf brother. And when he saw Perrin's eyes, he was like, oh, and you're still, a regular person in behavior. His brother had lost all connection with being human. He was a wolf completely in his mind. Moraine put her hand on his head to try and heal him, and her comment was, there's nothing in him that remembers being a man to bring back. And we find out way later that he had been through some stuff in his life. There was definitely reasons that he was like, nah, peace out. I've had it with humans. No. So I'm wondering if they're trying to blend him a little bit with Elias. Because Elias was the first wolf brother he met. Then there's this guy, and he is petrified of becoming that guy's brother. And he's like, what's the balance? How do I find balance? He struggles with that vast majority of the series, of trying to find the balance of being both human and wolf. Yeah, so and then Elias again, you can't run from what you are, boy. No, but that doesn't mean he's got to run from his friends either. No. This Elias is really confusing me as to why on earth he's pushing him like this.
I couldn't tell you. It doesn't really make sense to me.
It feels almost cult leaderish. You have to cut yourself off from everyone.
That's a possibility.
And that's a scary take on Elias. Yeah. And then Hopper whimpering. Yeah, no, don't make Hopper cry. You can't.
He is the best. He is the best boy.
Yes. So then we've got Lanfear on horseback, tearing through the woods and runs right past Moraine and Rand. So then finally, Moraine and Rand get to catch up a little bit.
Tell me everything. Did you think?
Yeah.
Tell me everything.
Well, the dawn of time.
You didn't get rid of Dark One, you released his most powerful lieutenant, who then released Lanfear. And if he releases them all, we have no hope at winning the last battle.
Which I thought was a really nice way of. There are 13 of the Forsaken. Even in the books, they aren't all fleshed out. We don't need all 13. We don't need Asmodine. He's the guy who sold his soul to the dark for eternal life so that he could compose music forever. We don't need Semirog.
That explains the scene in the towards the end of the episode. Or a line in the scene later.
We don't need Semirog, who in the books, Asmodine was captured by the forces of light. And Lanfear he was captured by Lanfear and forced him to train Rand. Because there aren't any other living guys who can channel, who can teach him squat. And they were talking about the other Forsaken one evening, and Asmodian said, "If Semirog finds me, I will slit my own throat."
Nice.
As a Forsaken, he ain't playing with that. No. So yeah, we can do without Semirog. We come to think of it, we might could do this with just Ashamael and Lanfear. Maybe Mogadine, the spider.
Well, I've been playing with ideas in my head. The opening scene outside of the Star Building before the Dark Friend conference at the round table.
Oh, okay. The pilot for season 2. Yeah.
Yeah, there were seals. The statues looked like the seals. One of them was knocked over, and there was a total of 6 outside that building. So I don't know if that means anything.
No. Well, in the books, there were only 7 seals, and they were about the size of your palm. So, yeah, I couldn't tell you anything about these seals.
And maybe I'm just conflating Ishmael releasing Lanfear and that thing that looked like a seal being knocked over, and there were 5 other ones around it.
But he went into like a very tight cavern.
Yeah, but these weren't like seals like blocking something in. These were just statues that looked like the seals. I might just be conflating things. I don't know.
I think those were different seals.
Okay.
Because Lanfear's was in that crevice or
I remember the dark cave or temple or whatever it was. It was very, very dark scene.
Yeah. So maybe the one that was knocked over was Mogadine? Don't know. We won't know for a while if she gets released. Because her thing is that she works from the shadows. Never directly, never putting herself at risk, just tweaking things from the side. So that'll be interesting if they bring her in. And then we have Perrin walking by the lake. And then Hopper follows him. It's so sweet.
The goodest boy.
Mm-hmm. And he shows him Uno. And Perrin says, "But you wait for me here." Hopper just lays down. Like the good boy he is.
I wait. It's okay. So Perrin goes back to a Tuin's mill. and he finds Uno in the cage, but he also sees a living person caged. And it's an Aiel. And Dane Bornhold threw me. I did not realize what he was when he first started talking to Perrin.
I did, because I paused when Perrin and Avienda were chatting, and I saw the name. I'm like, shit.
Yeah.
Do you remember in season 1, the very first White Cloak we meet? Before Valda, there was a white guy, older, white hair, big old beard. That's Jeffrey Bornhold, Dane's father.
That explains Valda later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I had no idea that Dane was a White Cloak until Valda showed up. Because he was.
Oh, you didn't see the.
He was wearing a cloak, and I didn't see anything white underneath.
But they're sitting there having their beer or whatever, and Perrin sees a White Cloak walk by in the background.
Yeah,
and that's why he asks for his room. And when Dane turns and is talking to the innkeep, his cloak opens up just a little bit, and you see snowy white.
I must have missed it. I must have missed that because I did not see it. Didn't.
Yeah. Perrin caught it.
I knew Perrin had seen the White Cloak, but I didn't know that Dane was wearing one as well.
So. You only saw just a sliver of it. Yeah. And the house dog running out to Perrin. That was cute. He doesn't have any connections with regular dogs in the books, but I don't remember there being a scene where he was even around one. So, but the wolves do not look favorably on those who gave up freedom for a warm place by the fire. Yeah, weak. But Dane does recognize Perrin's clothes, or maybe it was his wedding ring, as being Two Rivers made. I'm like, Two Rivers is way more well known outside of the Mountains of Mist in the show than in the books. But then in the books, Perrin wasn't married, so there wouldn't have been a ring to recognize. So
he would have had to recognize the stitching on his clothes or something.
Yeah, which would have been even more obscure, I think. Yeah, well, I mean, because mountain folk are just kind of mountain folk. I mean, there's not a whole lot of variation, and the Two Rivers isn't the only place in the Mountains of Mist. So, I mean, even if you knew it was Mountains of Mist, that is a long mountain range. So anyway, Perrin asks for his room, and he asks about the old innkeep. And the new guy says, oh, she went chasing after the Seanchan when they took her granddaughter. And the White Cloaks chased the Seanchan out a couple of days ago.
We were better off with them.
Well, yes, that.
That's what he said.
White Cloaks didn't chase out a dog. No. The Seanchan were leaving and they just walked along behind. No, they didn't shoo nothing. There's a great scene in the books later on. The Seanchan attack the White Cloak stronghold, and they take it. It's like, I don't like either of y'all, so yeah, feel free to slaughter us. Who the hell you want?
Just doing the lights work.
Yeah. Well, their obsession with order and this roaming army that answers to no monarch or any. And no, that was just completely against their whole ethos of there will be order. Um. So yeah, that's fun.
So Perrin goes inside, and we find out that
yes, I saw them.
Is still
Yes,
alive.
because obviously he's the only questioner in the entire White Cloak army. Of course he's here.
And he talks smack to Dane.
Mm-hmm.
Basically tells him, he's been,
Yeah, you can't hide behind Daddy Jeff from Hall forever.
relied on his father's name for too long. And then you hear wolves, and Valda cringes visibly.
No, it wasn't that. They heard just a random sound, and Lucky ran out.
Oh, it sounded like wolves.
I remember what it was. Perrin rattled the window when he jumped back because hello, Valda.
And Valda's like, "Who goes there?" And then the dog comes out. But I swear, before that, they heard a wolf howl.
That's after. I swear that's after. Once Perrin starts fighting, that's when you hear the wolves.
Well, yeah, of course you're going to hear the wolves when they start fighting, but I swear you saw Valda cringe.
Yeah.
Dane was like, "There's no wolves here."
That's just a random dog, dude.
Yeah.
That was fun.
I have in my notes, please let Perrin do the work of the light and take out
Valda.
So Lanfear finds the horse lady, the stable lady, and realizes that she's been tricked.
Yeah.
And the stable lady's like, "I won't tell anybody anything."
I know you won't.
I know you won't.
Okay, so before I mentioned the black swirling around her when she brought herself back, or maybe when the dark one brought her back. There
hasn't
was no swirling when she did that. So maybe because the true power is only visible to the one wielding it. Whereas in the books, at least, men can only see men channeling and women can only see women channeling, which makes that would be really hard to pull off in a show, in a visual medium.
That would explain maybe why Rand couldn't see what Lanfear was doing when she's like, "I'm a monster too," and there's some sort of shimmering going on all around her, but you don't see exactly what it is. And then Moraine takes care of things before it's too late.
In the books, anytime a woman even just holds the power, they get goosebumps. Women, unless they have a ter'angreal specifically designed to detect men channeling, So, yeah. But I thought it was interesting that you didn't see any weaves.
Yeah.
So or is it we didn't see the weaves because this time there was someone, another character present?
Maybe. Lanfear said something to the stable lady. He's still so young. I must remember that.
Yeah. So Varen returns to the tower. Yay!
I love how she came in all stealth with the hood up, and you're like, who is that? And you see it's her, and you're like, yay!
Yep. And I have my brown Aja shawl on because Varen's just awesome. awesome sauce. My mom cosplays her. Yeah. Mm. So we get the whole interchange with her and two of her sisters, and they're just get back now. Why and for how long? Can a retiree just return for the heck of it? No. Smart eyes than that.
I wrote their names down, Yasica and Naomi.
Yeah, I don't remember either of them from the books. But I like them. And then Nynaeve wakes up in the ways. Can you imagine waking up in a scarier place?
Well, she had been there before, so she kind of knew where she was.
Making it worse.
Yeah.
And I love what Leandrin said. You're shielded and bound. I'd warn you not to try anything, but I'm like, yeah, because you've met her before.
Have you met me?
Yes. I'd warn you, but I know you ain't listening.
Yeah.
So she talks about the three oaths and why they swear them. And if I remember right in the books, it was not because of that king, but after his whole dealio, they were like, you know what? The general population.
It's like, you might be right.
Yeah. Well, I have it. I looked it up. I have it here in my notes. The king she's talking about is Arthur Peyendrag Tanrial, or Arthur Hawkwing, as he's known in the stories. He was directly influenced by Ishamael. The books never really talk about how Ishamael was impacting the regular world, because his body was still imprisoned, but we see him in this episode later on in Teleandriod. So if he was going into Arthur's dreams and toying with his mind there, but that was when Arthur turned against the White Tower. He was a mercenary general fighting for the tower until Ishamael got a hold of him.
He got into the kids from the Two Rivers dreams really quickly last season. So, yeah, I guess that's how he would have done it.
So after Ishamael messed with his mind, he starts conquering everywhere, and everywhere is everywhere west of the Dragon Wall. And he wasn't stupid enough to cross the Dragon Wall. It was peace and prosperity, assuming you were the average person. If you were royalty, he was not very nice. But one of his sons, Luther, was sent out across the Arth Ocean to conquer whatever he found. And what he found became Shanchan. So that's why now the Shanchan are back, expecting, Arthur Pendrag's, descendants in, home sweet home, and what's this mess? So yeah. And Leandrin mentions that every woman has her price. what you find out in the books is that anyone who can channel can be turned to the dark against their will. They lose some of their intelligence. They certainly lose their creativity. But they can be turned, and they will be as vigilant for the shadow as they were for the light. But it does take 13 Aes Sedai of the Black Aja and 13 Murdra. So it's not something you do on a whim, but it is possible.
No, that requires some planning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A lot of phone calls and emails. What's your schedule looking like? Oh, no, we can't do that this week. I'm too busy chasing the Dragon Reborn. Yeah.
Uh-huh. So then we are in Lady Suroth's chambers. And man, this child got a temper.
She was right surly with old Ishiman. I mean,
you may be chosen, but you are not of the blood. You are here at my invitation.
You need my army. But he shut her right down just by mentioning
why she swore in the first place. Which I gotta believe was for power. You wouldn't have been leading any army if you hadn't sworn, so shut up.
Probably. That makes sense.
In the book, Suroth's truth speaker was one of the female Forsaken, but Suroth didn't know she was Forsaken, so, or chosen, or what have you.
Part of her surliness, I mean, yes, she lost her commando nails.
Yeah,
commander nails, I should say. And has anybody ever seen her eyebrows? They're nowhere. And the hair, just, I know I've got a 5 head, but Jesus Christ, that's just not an attractive hairstyle. Well,
that is a symbol of her status. If you looked around at court, everybody shaved the sides of their head.
Well, the sides is fine. It's gone. You know, a lot of forehead.
The less hair you have, the higher your station.
I must.
And Turok is bald.
Yeah, with like things carved into a skull. Ouch.
Yeah. And Ishamael says, I have a gift for you too. They should be here shortly. I'm afraid he's thinking of the 3 girls, or ladies.
That's exactly where my brain went.
Mm-hmm.
Watching it.
Yeah. But Perrin sneaks out of his room and breaks Avienda out. And the dance is what the Aiel call battle.
Yes, I understand.
Picked up on that?
Yeah.
But Lord only knows how many days she'd been in that cage. And she
pops out and just starts.
All right, okay. I'm ready.
Just wiping out white cloaks. I absolutely loved how Perrin tried to stand in front of her.
Yeah, she laughed. Like, yeah.
He's trying to block her, and she's like, hee hee, no boy.
Yeah. Watch this. Hold my beer.
Do you like to dance, Perrin Navarra?
Yeah. And I like that he saved Dane.
He
offered you water. Yeah, he gave you water. He helped us. Because water, when you live in a desert, is a big deal.
Yeah.
And the Aiels put great store in water. When they make contracts among the different tribes or clans, rather, it's called water oath. Their friendly goodbye is, may you always find water and shade. Avienda has seen feuds over a creek she could step across. And now she's here in the wetlands next to a lake. It's blowing her mind. Yeah, she's so good.
I don't think leaving Dane uninjured is going to help him with the other white cloaks. I don't think that's going to look good on him.
How so?
I don't think his superiors are going to take kindly to him not being
Oh,
hurt and
on
everybody
Dane,
else
not
died.
parent. Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Yeah,
everybody else is dead,
yeah.
but they let him live. They're going to think of course, Valda's going to think he was involved.
The more questions I asked, the more my answer was, the more you make up is what the more it is. The more you invent.
There is that.
Because dude will make a connection where there just isn't one. So then we have Rand and Moraine back in Kyrian. Just a quick stop for supplies. And Moraine tells them about Talanriod. The name Lanfear in the Old Tongue means daughter of the night, because of her prowess in the world of dreams.
Yeah.
That was her domain.
And tells Rand she can't keep them awake with the one power.
Well, what he says is, you can keep us awake with the one power. She says no. She can keep him awake, but she can't keep herself awake.
She can't channel.
Right. Or very minimally in life or death situations.
I don't think she can channel it all yet.
I keep forgetting that. But either way, the answer would have still been no. No Aes Sedai can heal themselves or do anything with the power to themselves. It's like trying to lick your elbow. It just, you can't. So then we have Leandrin delivering the 3 to Lady Suroth. And the pissing contest. That really did happen in the books.
I absolutely hated what Leandrin did.
Yeah.
She almost redeemed herself at the end.
By waking them up.
Well, undoing the binding on Nynaeve. And
he woke up all
ropes.
3 of them.
Yeah, but Nynaeve is unshielded, unbound.
Right, she wasn't tied up. The other 2 were still tied up.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, she gave him something of a fighting chance.
She at least tried to give, especially Nynaeve, a fighting chance.
Her favorite. Yeah.
Even though that relationship is dead, bury it, it's over. I don't think Nynaeve will ever have anything but a boot for Leandrin's backside.
Yeah. So then we have Perrin and Avienda the next morning sitting by the bank of the lake. I'm like, y'all are just sitting up here in the open, and the White Cloaks aren't that stupid.
You do not dance the spears badly, Paranabara.
That is a tremendous compliment. Coming from an Aiel to a Wetlander, you don't dance the spears badly? They hold Wetlanders in high contempt for their lack of battle skills.
I loved how he mistook some of her talk for offer or flirt or
Yeah. Do not worry, I will not
attack you in a fit of lust.
And he just sort of, okay, yeah, I deserve that.
Yeah. You know what happens when you assume, Perrin?
Uh-huh.
We skipped.
We did?
Yeah.
I miss.
When Rand and Moraine go to her sister's house, they actually go in and meet Barthanes.
Yeah, Barthanes.
Barthanes, sorry. He's going to marry the queen.
Yeah. That was such a sweet scene between him and Moraine. And I love how she diverted him. He asked something about,
is that blood?
Is that? Yeah.
And she's just like, my liege.
Yeah. Yeah. Puff his head up and get all about it.
I have a very bad feeling about that wedding. Hopefully they won't go full George R.R. Martin.
Yeah, but no red wedding. Please, no red
wedding. Lanfear showing up, it's not gonna be a walk in the park. Something's gonna get messed up badly. And Moraine wanted the horses, coursers, fast ones, and her sister's like, "Fine, I'll have them brought to the house." The queen gave us a stable full.
Yeah, any chance you're out of Dodge, the happier I'll be.
And any chance her sister gets to mention how they're in favor again.
Yeah.
And I noticed the tree of life on the door as they went in.
Oh, I missed that. I told you about that whole story with her uncle last time, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And we skipped Shireen is in her office. And
Shiriam and
Shiriam. Yeah. I'm sorry. Shiriam.
No worries. There's too many names in this series.
Verdon comes to visit, wants to know about the novices, the new novices that are super powerful. Where are they?
I'm sure they're at their chores.
No, and they're not in the room, and they're not in the classes. Where are they?
That's worth an investigation, don't you think?
Yeah. The look was
yeah. The complete blindsided. Yeah. And is that also the scene where she asks for that book that Shiriam?
Meditations on the Kindling Flame?
I
wrote that down just so I have a little bit of an idea. Yes, she uses the idea of that book to get her out of the room so that Jessica can come in and look at the ledger to see what's really written there.
Yeah.
In case she's lying to her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
So right. Okay, then we have the camel caravan into Falma. They're saying Falm, which is throwing me.
Yeah, I heard Falm. But
but there's an E at the end of it. Dang it.
We missed one more thing.
See, I keep watching the show instead of writing my notes.
Verdon and Jessica talk about what they found in the ledger, and you see script, and it's shaky.
Yeah.
And Was she lying? Or was she forced? Compulsion? They don't know. And Jessica drops the line, the Black Aja really exists.
Yeah. Yeah, honey, it does. There's when that comes out in the books, it shakes a lot of them because they didn't want to believe it.
That line made me flash back to the first episode with the Black Aja woman sitting at the table with all the dark friends. And I was wondering, is that Leandrin's hand? Is that Cherie?
Shiriam, yeah.
Shiriam?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And then Elaine and Nynaeve are sort of wandering around town, and Elaine's like, "We're in Valm. That's thousands of like. How did we get here? Because neither of them, neither her nor Wayne woke up in the ways that we saw, at least.
Yeah, she didn't know. She's never been through the ways. At least Egwene had been through and
yeah,
could
Egwene would
understand.
recognize it. But yeah, as far as we know, she never woke up to see it, to have the opportunity to puzzle it out. So yeah.
This part annoyed me because Egwene's smarter than this. She's wanting to go, throw her braid and go off half cocked and get her friend and kick everybody's butt.
Nynaeve, not Egwene.
Not sorry, Egwene. not Egwene. Nynaeve.
Yeah. Too many names.
At least once a video, I do this. Thank you.
I do it too, and I've been reading the series for too many years.
So she's ready to just say, "The heck with all this. We're going to get my friend back." And Elaine is trying to tell her, we got to be a little more subtle. We got to get off the street. We got to change our clothes. And she's like, "Oh, are these not good enough for you, princess?" She's just being a witch for. Yes, she's mad, but she's just taking it out on Elaine, and it's unnecessary. Yeah. Elaine, you wouldn't think someone who was the daughter heir would know anything about this. She's more worldly than Nynaeve at this point. So. And then they get attacked.
Yeah, they get ambushed.
They wake up and a warder of a yellow Aes Sedai named Rima has taken them in, get them off the street because Lady Surath is looking for them.
That's a much later scene. That is in here. You skipped a bunch.
I skipped the
Leandrin comes back to his tower and runs into Varen.
I have that right after that. So sorry.
Oh, no, you're right. The timestamp on it. Okay, that cannot be the right timestamp. Okay. Anyway, yeah, they wake up with the yellow Aja, Rima Sedai, and her warder.
They didn't say his name, so I don't know his name.
No, they didn't. But yeah, everybody is looking for you.
You don't need to be on the street, child.
No.
Yeah. And Varen finds Leandrin coming in. She knows something's up. But she keeps putting out that rope for Leandrin to just take her own.
Yeah. Yep. Give you just enough rope to hang yourself with.
Exactly.
Figuratively.
She kept talking about I've got the white asparagus. It's only grown in this area and at this time of year. And it's like she's desperate to prove that she wasn't where she was.
Yeah. That's exactly the misdirection.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Varen is
smarter than that.
Smelling a rat the size of Montana.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. And then we get Moraine getting cleaned up, and her sister walks in. And she's like, "You've always known what you're doing. You don't. You're not screwing this up for my kid." Um, I didn't write it down.
If something is upsetting you or
yes.
making you afraid, ask
Mm-hmm.
one question. Is it true?
Is it 100% true?
Yep.
Is he in trouble? Mm-hmm. Does he need your protection?
He may not.
He certainly needs someone's protection for a minute at least, because he can't do this all on his own.
No, but as far as Lanfear, she had plenty of opportunity to kill him over the months they were together. If she wanted him dead, he would have been just bones by now.
Yep. Yep.
So then we go to the second most interesting scene of the episode.
Oh yeah, when they're in Teleon Road, and yeah,
is Shamael in bed with Rand,
just laying there looking at him,
caressing his cheek ever so lovingly, and it's just like, ooh. Yeah. The homoeroticism is thick tonight. It's thick tonight. And he realizes it's Lanfear.
Mm-hmm. Subtlety was never your strong suit.
And every time they've shown her since she's revealed herself, she looks older. When she was Celeste, Celine, no crow's feet, nice soft skin. In this episode or this scene, when she's laying there and she smiles, you see the crow's feet.
What I noticed was
face, and her eye makeup was
black eyeshadow.
Oh yeah,
okay.
Her eye makeup was
that's a choice.
Very industrial goth, I guess would be a good.
This is why they don't wear shawls in the show, because I don't stay on
safety pin.
I've tried it. All it does is ride up and try and choke me.
No, I'm talking about to the back of your shirt.
Oh, that is a thought. Okay. And they're asking each other, how are you doing with your pets?
Some of their dialogue was just great.
Yeah. And the fact that they were speaking old tongue.
Aren't you worried I'll betray you? Obviously. I love that.
Like, is the Pope Catholic? Yes. She's gonna. How stupid are you?
Do wild bears poop in the woods? Yeah. Yes.
Except the ones that don't live in the woods.
And she asks Ishmael why he didn't just kill Moraine.
Yeah.
Desperation.
Dead
opens the mind to more interesting choices. Dead eyes are useless.
He thinks if he dangles the one power, or even maybe the true power, in front of her, just to be able to channel something, she'll turn to the dark. That's his plan.
Makes sense.
He just needs her desperate enough.
Makes sense. And I loved when he asked, "Do you know why the Great Lord woke me first?" And Lanfear's like, "Because, oh God, I cannot say this word.
Mogadine
is insane.
Uh-huh.
Grendel is an idiot. And the boys couldn't execute a plan if they were under compulsion."
Demandre, that's another one I could do without.
That just shows her contempt for her
Mm-hmm.
fellow Forsaken.
Mm-hmm.
But Ishmael says, because of all the chosen, I actually believe in the dark.
Even the dark.
I want to stop the suffering,
Yeah.
stop the wheel itself.
Yeah, and that is straight out of the books. He wants everything to end. He is tired of this relentless, because in their world, everyone is reincarnated. Everything comes back around. And I don't know how much of his past lives he maybe remembers or thinks he remembers. But he is just ready to be done with all of it. He is suicidal beyond suicidal.
But he can't die, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sorry about that. I have a cat that's singing us the song of his people.
Oh.
That's Ragnar.
Ah.
The misnamed kitty. He's not a Viking. He is just the sweetest little thing you've ever met. Well, by little, I mean less than 20 pounds. He's like 19 and a half.
Oh, he's the Maine Coon?
No, he's just fat.
Fat. I tried to make an excuse for the poor guy.
No, he's just a big boy. He likes his food. My other cat gets medicine, and after his medicine, he gets a treat. And Ragnar, of course, thinks he deserves one too because he did nothing but sit there and watch.
Well, I'm here. Don't I get one too, Mom?
Yeah, pretty much. That's how it works. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So Lanfear asks Shamael, how are your three little pets? Is the Aes Sedai leading them along nicely or something like that? It's like, I only just got them. Come on. Come with some slack.
Rand has, or no, not Rand, sorry. Matt has always been mine. Soon Perrin will be more wolf than man.
Well, Matt was born mine, and Perrin will soon be more wolf than man. Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem I have with all of this, wolf makes him evil. Wolves, in the books at least, are extremely anti-dark. They will lose an entire pack trying to take down a Murdrop. And the I forget what they call the Dark Hounds. But that's and the Dark Hounds once upon a time were wolves. And they were just twisted somehow or another. So it's both a sadness and a contempt and a you're not supposed to exist. That this defies nature, and so that they have none of it. But yeah, I don't like this supposed connection with wolves and the dark one. It was bad enough when the white cloaks were insisting it, because everything's of the shadow when you're talking to a white cloak, except a white cloak. Which got news for you, kiddos. They're everywhere.
There was a white cloak at that table.
There was?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Oh, well, I know of at least two in the books, so yeah, wouldn't surprise me. So then we have Shamael being pulled out of the dream because he's being called into Turok's court. You have my attention.
You got me the horn of Valyr? I don't know who you are. You are not of the
blood. Yeah. You came out of nowhere. You've risen in the ranks so fast. Who are you? And I was surprised. What he said was actually true. I left my home so long ago, I don't remember it, or can barely remember it. I think, like, it's been at least 3,000 years, and you were probably a good 400, maybe 500 years old when you were sealed up. Yeah, yeah, you've earned the right to forget. And
Yeah,
the country doesn't exist anymore anyway, so it wouldn't mean anything to Turok.
3,000 years in a hole. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Um, so then we have
He tells him he just wants him to receive Lady Surat's gift.
Right. Yeah, and Suarth walks in and gives Egwene to Turok.
This was the hardest scene to watch. It was neat from a technical aspect to watch how the collar became the full breastplate. The CGI was awesome, but
yeah,
knowing what that was doing to her really was very difficult to watch.
yeah. Um, in the books, it's just a very simple mechanical collar. Anyone, if they know the trick, they can unlock them. You don't need the one power to take them off. However, if a Damane tries to take it off, it's like an electric collar, um, or actually can be whatever sensation the Suldam wants. Because if it happens while the Suldam is holding the leash, they know exactly what the person is trying to do and can inflict whatever sort of punishment through the leash that they feel like. It make the person feel whatever they feel, that whatever impulse goes through their head. And if they put that bracelet on a peg on the wall and the Damane tries to move it any more than about 5 or 6 feet, the Damane gets violently ill, and the Suldam, or any Suldam who puts on the bracelet, will know an attempt was made. And so, again, more punishment.
Yes.
Yeah, it's those that.
It was brutal to watch.
Yeah, that. Yeah. The Idam are no joke. The odd thing is that they're actually Tirangria, and they were made by an Aes Sedai during the time of Artur Payandrak. Um, and then, surprise, surprise, she herself ended up getting leashed. Like, what did you think was going to happen, woman?
Foolish people push for restrictions and then wonder when it bites them too.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
I hope they go into this in the show. In the books, Suldam can channel too. There are those who have the spark born in them, like Elaine and Egwene and Nynaeve. Others can learn. If you have the spark born in you, it's something that's going to happen to you, much like puberty, and about the same time. Though it can be later. But many more could learn if they put their mind to it. So that's why there's always so many more Suldam than Damane. But in order to be a part of a circle, like what they did at the end of season 1, that's what the item is. It's a Tirangriel that forces a circle. And Suldam, over time, the years and years of training, they begin to be able to see the weaves as well. Yeah, because you can channel. That's why you can see the weaves. but nobody in that culture, who on earth would want to believe that they are this, enormous monster that everyone's made them out to be? Aww. Is that Ragnar?
No, this is our baby. This is Dougal.
Oh, right.
Sorry, he was tickling my leg. If I didn't annoy him, he wouldn't stop. So we've gotten to the last scene, and the most interesting scene
Mm-hmm.
that ended way too soon. I need more information. I'm just doing research.
Oh, so then we have Rand and Barthanes playing cards.
And Moraine says we're not leaving. We're staying.
Yeah.
And you're going to sleep.
And he's like, say what now?
Huh?
You said that was a stupid idea.
Hi? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Rand goes up to his room. Moraine says, I'll stay with you and wake you up if it seems she's hurting you. And Rand doesn't think it's a good idea, but he's real tired. So he lays down and instantly.
Well, and I love what Moraine says. It's your choice, Rand. I mean it this time.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah, both times I watched it.
Okay. Yeah. So Rand wakes up in what I think is the waste.
Oh, or
on
some
a cliff.
approximation thereof. Yeah. You can make whatever you feel like in Telehound Road.
Yeah.
But it would be easier to just set it in the waste. Yeah.
On a cliff. Strapped bondage style to a wheel.
With 7 spokes.
Yeah.
The Wheel of Time has 7 spokes. Yeah. There are 7 ages.
I paused and counted. After I was done looking at things. Scenery's astounding.
The scenery.
Yeah.
Part of the scenery,
That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And Lanfear is there. On a throne. Dressed in her dominatrix best. Those boots were fabulous. I don't know what this crap was on her head. And her hair's short. Was she, when she was with Rand, was she glamored? Did she make herself look different, younger? Because I think that's why she looks kind of old and.
Yeah. There's a weave for that. Yeah. Could easily have disguised herself. Yeah. Well, glamour shot at herself.
Yeah. And I swear in the scene with Ishamael, it looked like she was wearing the rubber band ring too.
Oh. See, I thought in that scene that she also had short hair.
She did.
So maybe it's just a Teleon Riod thing.
Maybe. I don't know. Just something I noticed. It was different. Her hair was different, and her face.
I didn't catch it in the last scene, but it.
I'm not saying she's old and haggard and.
No,
she's still a gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous woman, but
maybe
you can see that
10 years older than what we
she's
thought
aging
before.
or aged more than what we had seen before. And that scene was over way too fast. Hopefully, this next episode we get back in there and find out what.
And she says, "Finally."
Yeah, she's been waiting. Got to sleep sometime.
Yep. And what's I going to say? Totally forgot. During the Age of Legends, she was known as the most beautiful woman of the age, possibly of that of any other. And she's also quite tall for a woman.
They got a decent actress. She is a pretty lady.
Yeah. I reading that description, I'm like, you're not going to find an actress that's an impossible order to fill. Because it's everybody.
Helen Troy was 1 in a million.
Yeah. Yeah. In the books, Rand is probably about 6 foot, and Celine comes up to his chin, so that makes her 5'7", 5'8". So yeah, for a woman, pretty tall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's known for her long black hair, and she loves wearing white and silver jewelry in moon and stars because of the whole Daughter of the Night theme she's got going on.
And if I had a better body, I would totally cosplay her. we can work with silver stars just for jewelry. That can be done very easily.
So what did you think of the episode overall?
I loved it. I did. Even with the hard to watch scenes, the first season almost feels like they were trying to bring us up to speed. It felt kind of slow. This is coming at you from every direction, just whizzing, fastballs straight down the plate. To make a baseball reference, that is probably wrong, but I'm trying.
I wouldn't know.
I grew up with a coach for a dad, so I don't like sports.
What are you looking forward to?
If the preview for next episode is true, McQueen gets herself out of trouble. And it looks like she beat someone to death with her bare hands. And I will totally understand why. That should be interesting.
Yeah. So I'm curious as to I'm assuming that once they're quote unquote fully trained, that's when they go from collar to banky. What holds it in place? And they have to be able to eat. So I don't know.
That thing, it's right up there with Surath's nails. It's just gross. Now, tying grown men to wheels, that's one thing, but the pinky is just a bridge too far. That's just me. Sorry.
It also means they can't talk.
Of course.
They have no voice.
They're slaves.
So, I thought it was interesting what Surath said to Leandrin. The Suldam trained for years. Well, so did the Aes Sedai, woman. Have you not heard of the White Tower?
Do you think they just hand out those gold rings?
Yeah. But at least the Shan line is that Suldam couldn't possibly channel. That's only Damane. What on earth do they think the Suldam are training in, or for, or how? I'd like to see how they try to square that hole.
It just seems like something that's going to come back and bite them. And the sooner the better. Yes. you don't like the Reds because they're way too gung ho with hating men and putting them in their place. The Shang-Chi, you can't like them because they're enslaving women. You can't win.
Well,
I loved the back and forth
enslavement.
between. Oh, I'm sure. I loved the back and forth between Lady Surath, and Leandrin. There will come a time when all
our Lord will, our Lord,
his needs will change.
Yes, his needs will change. That's what it was. And perhaps I will be the one to place a collar on your throat.
On your lovely throat. The first time I heard that, I thought she said ugly throat. And I'm like, that's a bit much. And then I rewound and listened to it. Lovely throat. Okay. Even though she was being.
Needs will change. And I will remind you of that on the day you kneel to me. If you live that long.
As she flicks her fingers and lets Egwene free of her bindings.
That's Nynaeve free.
Nynaeve. Yeah, I just did it again. Egwene. No, yeah. Nynaeve. Yeah, I did it again. Sorry.
Trying to keep everybody straight here.
Yeah. Scorecard. This is worse. This is worse than the Lord of the Rings. Jeebus. Oh.
When Ron first got me watching Game of Thrones, it was like, say what now? Who's that? And what is going on?
I started the books after the first season. And that helped because I could put actors' faces. You know, Sean Bean is Ned. Charles Dance is Tywin Lannister. You know, I could do that in my head as I'm reading the book, so that helped. But that first season was kind of a people, why do they matter? But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how many of the books he had read at that point, but it was more than none, which is the amount I've still read.
You should read them. They're good.
I didn't like how cutthroat the series was, and Ron said the books were worse. So I'm like, no.
Yes and no. The series, Dumb and Dumber, played up a lot of the titillation, the naked ladies.
Oh, you're talking about the two writers.
Yeah. Okay. Dumb and Dumber, Dan and Dave. They played that up a lot more than. Yes, there's some of that in the books, but it's not nearly at that level. And yes, there's some cutthroat backstabbing, but every good story has a little bit of that. What would you call Leandrin?
There's plenty of it in Wheel of Time.
I was gonna say, what would you call Leandrin? She's a throat cutting, backstabbing brat. Capital B.
Or nailing a murder to a door through its eyes, or where its eyes would have been if it had eyes.
Convinced that was Patton thing. Going nuts with that dagger. I could be wrong.
I think that so Shamael mentioned the last battle will happen here in Falmer, and I think they're going to save that for the season finale.
They're probably going to pull a cliffhanger with that one. We won't see the full outcome of that, but yeah, they'll be working everybody, getting them all. I mean, they've got quite a few people involved already. It's just a matter of Moraine. From previews, it looks like Lan meets back up with them, and Matt and Ned.
Yeah, probably because they're on their way to Carian.
They'll probably meet up with Rand and Moraine, them, and travel with them.
And then all 4 of them. Yeah.
Maybe 5. I'm pretty sure Lamb's gonna come back to the fold.
At some point, yeah. He needs to come back. Alrighty. So that does it for us. Share your thoughts and comments or in the comments down below. Like and subscribe, you know the deal. And we will see y'all next Tuesday. Night.